What's up, everyone? This is Pro-Verbs back here with another one, but this time it's not a reaction video. This time I'm doing a little something different. It's story time, y'all. That's right, story time. Today I really want to emphasize on faith because faith is a big part of our lives, and we all need to exercise it. So if your faith is small, you need to exercise that faith. And I'm gonna tell you a story about me a few years ago during the pandemic and how I had to exercise my faith. But thank God, I'm pretty much more of an optimistic type of person. So no matter what's going on around me, I always try to see the good side of things. I always try to look for the positive. And that's what I encourage everybody to do. Look for the positive in things and just move forward. So let me get started. So during the pandemic, this was like the summertime of the pandemic. Before the summertime even started, I was working as a driver. I was working this driving app where I'm picking up people all across New York City. I was going to school. So I'm going to school for my degree and I'm working. So the good thing about the job, it was very flexible. So I can choose whether to work at in the day or work at night, work on my own schedule. So that was definitely a positive. That was definitely the good thing right there. So anyway, I was living somewhere different at the time. I was living in this studio apartment. So everything was going well. Sometimes I switched up my school schedule to compensate with the work. Sometimes I did switch up the work schedule to compensate with the school. But I only switched probably about 2 times. So anyway, this time now, when the pandemic hit, it's just like, oh man. Like things took a turn for the worse. I'm telling you, it was crazy. It was crazy. So anyway, we had to start doing school online now. Yo, if you ever been in this situation where you're doing school online and you home chilling, sometimes it's like you can't help but fall asleep at times listening to the professor. Like, man, that's another story though. That's another story. Anyway, let me get to it. So anyway, I had to transition to do schoolwork from home now, right? But here's the thing now. Later on, when the summertime came around, the work started getting slower. The work started getting slower. Not much people was requesting rides, and I'm like, damn. Sometimes I'm just driving around, having the app open, like hoping a ride will come, like something will just pop up. So sometimes I'm just there chilling in the car. I'm like, any moment now, any moment now. I kid you not. Sometimes the best that I would do, it got so bad, I think I would probably get like 3 or 4 trips for the day. That was the best. I think one day, I think I only probably got like 1 or 2. And mind you, I still had to pay the rent for the vehicle because it was a rental. It was a rental on top of that. And they knew it was a pandemic. So anyway, they called me one week and say, hey, you missed this week. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm trying to make up the money right now. Things are slow. They gave me a little grace period. Next week came along. I'm like, yo, I really ain't got it. And plus, on top of that, I had to pay rent. Kid you not. So they had this thing where they were giving out stimulus. I didn't even get that. because I'm working independent. But they stated something about drivers were able to get something. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet. So I signed up. I signed up on the website, and I'm like, all right, so cool. This is gonna be like a cushion for me right now, so I can be able to pay the rental and pay my rent. So mind you now, I happened to pay the rent, when the next month came along, because luckily I had some savings. But then the next month hit, it was getting harder now. I was not getting no rides, not getting any rides. I was like, damn, it seemed like this company about to tank because I ain't getting nothing. So now I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I think I had to pick up little other odd jobs somewhere else. I remember one job I had to literally go out in New Jersey. I had to go out in New Jersey and work some job out there. But that was just like really temporary. So I really never had much work coming in. So anyway, weeks going by, and I haven't seen 1 cent from the money I'm supposed to get as an independent driver. So I'm like, yo. I think it was coming September. And I'm like, yo, I don't have it. I think I had I had half of the rent. My rent was only $1,000, so luckily it wasn't that bad because it was a studio apartment. So by September came around, told my landlord, listen, things are moving very slow for me, and only got like 500. So she accepted that, and she was like, okay, the security money, I'll make up for that. So I was like, all right, I lost like half on my security. So I'm trying to remember now. So eventually, guess what happened? But I did make a smart move. I made a smart move before that even took place. What did I financed a car. Yeah. I financed a car. And I didn't have to put, did I have to put money down? I don't think I had to put any money down. Because one thing, I was trying to transition into basically getting my own vehicle, so I don't have to rely on the rental company. So I financed the vehicle, so I have the other vehicle now. And now the rental, they came to repossess their car because I really didn't have it. I chose to pay my rent over the vehicle. And mind you, the vehicle was, how much was it? I think it was about 400 and something every week. I had to pay 400 and something every week. So now I have this other vehicle, so now I can be able to get around and do all the little odd jobs. So, all right, moving on to October now. So September, I paid half. Now it's coming to the end of September now. It's coming into the end of September, and I still haven't even seen the money yet. So I'm like, now, since the TLC vehicle got repossessed, I couldn't even do that type of driving job no more. So I'm on that app, Winolo. Yes, I was on Winolo app looking for other jobs. I'm like, yo, I gotta make it one way or another. This month, I only paid 500. Next month, I don't even know what to do. I didn't even have half of that. I'm like, I am struggling. I'm struggling. And even during that time, my girl, she had she had bought some food for me because I was running low on food. I could barely make it. I'm telling you, I could barely make ends meet. But I'm like, all right, I can't wait on this money, and it doesn't look like this money is coming. And I think I filed for it probably from June. I'm gonna say June. I filed for it for June, and now we like in the end of September. So it was about, I think it was September, I'm gonna say either 29th or the 30th, one of those days. And I'm just there laying in the bed. I'm like, God, I'm not sure what to do. But no, I had a week left. Sorry. I had a week left in September. I had a week left. A whole week. So I'm like, okay, I'm still trying to find some type of work. The other work slowed up. And now I'm on the Renolo. I'm like, I need to find something. If I have to go to a different state to work and make up the money for the rent, then so be it. I gotta get this money one way or another. I didn't see no other way. So I'm like, hey, if I have to work my ass off just so I can pay this rent, I'm gonna do it. So I was willing to make any type of sacrifice, anything necessary, because I was like, no, I'm not gonna go out like that. I don't want to come with an excuse to the landlord and say, listen, I ain't got it. Listen, I'm able-bodied. I'm more than capable. So I'm gonna do whatever is necessary. I picked up jobs here and there, but as I said, these type of work was only temporary. So I'm looking. I'm like, man, I think I saw one that was out of state, like Pennsylvania. I said, if I have to travel that far and even pay a hotel and to do that job for that whole week and make up that money, then so be it. That was my mentality. So be it. But I'm not going to go out like that. I'm going to make this money one way or another so I can pay this rent. So I'm not going to say I wasn't a little stressed. I was a little bit stressed. But at the same time, I'm like, I got to do what I got to do. I'm not laying down. I'm not tapping out. I'm not going to say, well, it is what it is. No. But guess what? It was, I think it was in the month of September, actually. I think it was actually in the month of September I was offered. Come to think of it, it was in the month of September I was offered a job from this other driving company. Yeah, I was offered a position. They actually contact me. They text me or they call. I think they text me, and they said they were willing to pay. I think it was, how much was it? $200 a day. $200 a day, and it was just being on standby. Sometimes I get like 2 or 3 trips a day. Sometimes I get 0, because it was some type of program that they had where, was dealing with CV patients. So I was dealing with CV patients, picking them up and stuff like that. But that wasn't until, I didn't get that gig until like, Sometimes my memory can elude me, but I would say it was sometimes in like during the ending of September, close towards there, like mid-September, ending September. So of course I'm not gonna make the whole 1,000 right there and then, but I was happy at the fact that I did get that. So that in itself was also temporary, but I was doing that. So I started sometimes in September. I would say it was September. Sometimes it's like because it was so long ago. But here's the point that I'm making though. So now we almost close to October. I don't have the money. And then out of I'm lying. Let me backtrack. Sorry. Let me backtrack. That program, I did it. Actually, I did it. The program lasted it was from July to August. Yes, that's what it is. It was from July to August. And then it was no more. It was from July to August. So now I'm saying, what am I going to do? So I think it was when was it? Because there was a month that I actually paid half of the rent. And probably it was sometimes in August. I think it was in August that I paid half of the rent. And then, no, it was September. Yeah, it was September I paid half of the rent. Now I'm stressed about August now. I mean, October. So anyway, I'm there looking for work. I'm like, I gotta do whatever necessary. Then it was just out of the blue one night. I was like, let me just check my account and see what I'm gonna be able to even give for next month coming. When I checked my account, I kid you not, the money came in. The thing that I filed from June? Yeah, it was June. Was it June? Listen, my memory sometimes it was so long ago and I don't even want to remember those times. But the fact is, I was looking for work. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for October. I just remember it was October. It's funny that I just remembered it's just October there. Because September I paid half. October, I was just, what am I going to do? So anyway, the money came in. And I kid you not, it was more than what the rent. It was more than the rent. It was enough to be sufficient. It was enough. And that company that I was actually working with, where they were paying me $200 a day, they kind of picked up, but it wasn't the same program. I just was doing regular driving jobs with them. I rented a vehicle with them now. Before I was renting a vehicle with some other company. So I rented a vehicle with them, and then because I saved my money that I made during, with the pay that I got from the company. Oh my God, I messed it up. From the money that I got from filing with the program where independent drivers can get some money. So now I use that money, some of the money, rent a car with the company I was working with, because I was using another vehicle. I was actually using another vehicle that I rent somewhere else working with them. Now I specifically rent with them. And everything worked out. Everything worked out. I'm telling you, it's just that God is good. God is good. And I was just ecstatic. So anyway, what I'm saying is this. in times of trouble, in times of where you're not sure they're going to be a way, hold on to that faith. Hold on to it, and you will see how God moves. And if your faith is small, all you got to do is exercise it.
98, 99, 100.
Anyway, I was just showing you a little demonstration, of exercising your faith. Yeah, but you got to exercise your faith. Sometimes in life, it's like, you got to take baby steps. You got to take baby steps because it's like we have to learn to overcome that fear. And how we overcome that fear, we take step by step. But eventually, you got to take bigger leaps. The baby steps, it prepares you. But once you take a bigger leap of faith, you see bigger things happening in life. God wants you to trust him regardless of how your situation look. No matter what you're going through, you got to hold on to that faith. I am encouraging you today. Don't give up. If you have a dream, you got a goal. Keep pushing on. Sometimes we have to take a step back so we can make 2 steps forward. Don't let your ambitions die out. Whatever God placed in your heart, whatever he placed in your heart, he expects you to accomplish that. He expects you to see it through. Sometimes when we're going through certain situations, we may not understand at that moment. But sometimes it's not meant for you to understand. You just got to push through. Don't overthink things. Don't overcomplicate things. You know you have a God that you serve, and he's mightier than your circumstance. He's mightier than that situation that you're going through. Whether it be financial, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a death of a loved one. You gotta keep fighting the good fight. Whatever it is, I don't know your situation. But once you trust him, and it may sound cliche. It may sound cliche. And I'm not feeling what you're feeling. But what I can say, trust him, because I did. I felt, listen, let me explain something to you. I've went through a lot of hardships in my life. A lot of hardships. I even been homeless for about a week. And was it by choice? Yes and no. But I was making a sacrifice for something. I'll probably tell that story for next time. But once you're making a sacrifice, sometimes sacrifices can hurt. Sometimes you can feel it. When you're going through something, you're going to feel it. But guess what? Have you ever heard the saying, pressure busts pipes, but also pressure makes diamonds? Once you have the tenacity, the strength, the wherewithal to go through it all, you see how you come shining like a diamond. Just shining like a diamond. But you gotta believe. You gotta believe in yourself that you can. And I'm gonna tell you one more story. I'm not gonna go into whole details. But when I went to school for massage therapy. And after about 2 years, after the schooling, I opened up my own business. I had a business off. I had an office. I had 2 rooms. I was doing massage in one room. I had a friend of mine. He also came on board and helped me out. I had 2 estheticians, 2 females that did waxing and what's the other thing? Facials. It was okay. I didn't say it went very well because that's the first time I'm opening a business. I've learned a lot. But I kept the business open for about a year before I shut it down because I was still working the job that I have right now today and still trying to be able to keep that business open because things were so slow. I had to compensate that business with what I was doing, with the job that I was doing. I believed in it. I went to school believing that I'm gonna make a success of this. Now, me closing it down, that was one of the hardest decisions that I had to make because I had other responsibilities. And it was very strenuous on me. Financially, it was hard. Sometimes I have to miss certain payments because I have to make this payment and then try to catch up to make the other payment. So it was definitely hard. Now, me stopping it, that's me taking a step back and just learn from what I went through with that business. See the mistakes that I made, see what did I do good, and then it's like I can be able to formulate a more substantial plan to really make it become successful. So that business was not successful, but now with the knowledge that I actually received from doing it, next time, because right now I'm gonna go back into the building process. I'm gonna start back up again when I know I'm truly ready. So I haven't given up on it. I just take a step back to reassess the plan. So what I'm saying is, once something is placed in your heart, you may have to take a step back, but don't give up on yourself. Go back at it again. Whatever you did, whatever mistakes you did, or whatever you did that's good, just reassess the plan and start again. Remember, faith is the absence of things not seen, but you believe in it. It's just like, it's funny how I use this analogy, but it's real. Because we all have a measure of faith. We all do. But our faith is not the same. And that's where you have to come to exercise it. But anyway, the analogy is, when you get up in the morning, it's without a shadow of doubt, when you get out that bed, your feet is going to hit the floor. You know you're not falling nowhere. You know your feet going to be planted on that floor and you're going to stand up and get up. That's how our faith have to be. It's just knowing. You don't have to see. You just know. So whatever plans it is, whatever goals you have. Sometimes you may not see things coming into fruition, but you just know once you put in the work, something have to come out of it. Something have to come out of it. And if you're gonna make a mistake, just learn from the mistake. But just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. If you're still making more mistakes, keep going. Keep going. And it may cost you time. It may cost you finances. But once you have that burning desire, that passion, nothing gonna stop you. You're gonna learn what you need to learn. You're gonna gain wisdom from the mistakes you make. So it's not all a loss, because the return will be even greater. It will be greater. So, you know, as I was saying earlier, when I was going through those things, it was just like, I know I just had to put in the work. I had to do what I had to do. I'm not just gonna lay down and like, oh, I can't do this no more. Call it quits. No. I'm healthy. I'm able-bodied. I'm more than able. I'm more than capable. And you just gotta have that mindset that nothing is gonna stop me. Nothing is gonna stop me. Nobody. And if people try to sow seeds of doubt, ignore all of that. Distance yourself from people like that. You gotta believe in yourself. Hold on to that faith like your life depends on you. Say like you on a tree and you holding on to a branch, and you know if you let go, that's it. It's lights out for you. Hold on to it like that. Hold on to faith like that. And if you got to exercise it like you saw earlier, exercise that faith. Exercise it. Sometimes you just got to go out on a limb and say, you know what? I'm going to stretch myself. And what I mean by stretch yourself, see your limits. See what you're able to do. It's like when you're working out and you're lifting weights, you're going to check to see how much weight you're able to lift. So you got to see what type of burden are you able to carry. You got to test yourself out. You got to test your limits to see how much you're able to do, and that's how you exercise your faith. Some days you may not feel like it. You may feel tired. But that's the best time to exercise your faith. The best time, because you can see how you can do even greater. You'll be like, wow, I didn't even know I could handle this. Wow. I've been there. And I'm like, man, sometimes I literally test myself to see how far I'm able to go, to see how much responsibilities I'm able to handle. And I do that with intention, because I know that I have a greater purpose. I want to feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm actually accomplishing something. You know, as a man, you want to feel like I'm actually doing something of substance that it not just benefit me, but it benefits others as well. Like it's a purpose, basically. A purpose-driven life. You know? So I encourage y'all to really exercise your faith. That was my story today. Sorry to be so long-winded, but I hope you get it. So, hey, if this encouraged you to exercise your faith and do what you got to do, then great. I did my job. So anyway, hey, if you like this video, click the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hey, share this with someone who you believe that this will encourage as well. Shalom, y'all. Peace.